In touch with some of our colleagues on the ground around the country with this particular story. We continue with our focus on the allocation of crime fighting resources. And now the Western Cape government believes the crime stats prove policing should be devolved to provinces. It says that murder and attempted murders have decreased in areas where officers have been deployed. Monique Mortlock is speaking to victims of crime and CPFs to get their take on this, but she's in Nyanga for the story. Good morning to you, Monique. Obviously, this conversation having a direct impact on victims and loved ones of victims, because justice is not served, depending on how you view this. Is it because not enough resources are being allocated, or even those entrusted with the resources are not using them the way they are supposed to? Good morning, Monique.
Good morning. Certainly, Tumelo. Now, Nyanga, for our viewers who don't know, for many years has been considered the murder capital of South Africa. But the Western Cape government has, over the weekend, issued a statement saying that it's happy to see an improvement in this area here in Nyanga. I'm standing directly opposite the Nyanga police station. And Nyanga, according to the latest crime statistics for the fourth quarter, from January to March 2022, it's seen a drop in the number of murders compared to last year, same time, January to March 2021. And certainly this seems to be a great improvement, and for the Western Cape government, it's proof that their interventions, that implementation of the law enforcement officers program, which they started right before the pandemic, in which they saw the rollout of about 1,000 law enforcement officers in what they called crime hotspots across Cape Town, and that is including Nyanga, Kraaifontein, Delft, Mitchell's Plain, Philippi, and these areas have really been an issue when it comes to police officers and the number of police resources just allocated for these areas. It's been a bit of a bone of contention between provincial government and national government, where provincial government has for years been saying we are under-resourced, we require the resources, we require the boots on the ground in areas like Nyanga, like Delft. But because we're not seeing it from national government, from the SAPS, we then will implement our own safety plan by rolling out over 1,000 of our own law enforcement officers in conjunction with the city of Cape Town to areas where it's needed most. And according to Western Cape Premier over the weekend, in that statement, he said that these latest crime statistics, where several areas where these law enforcement officers have been deployed, have shown a drop in crime stats, in your murder stats, in your attempted murder stats. And it's for this reason that Western Cape government feels, look, our program is working. It's thanks to these law enforcement officers, the deployment of the law enforcement officers, that have been able to just ease that burden from police officers. And a few weeks ago, actually it was about a week or two ago, when we were doing our focus on the justice system, and I was speaking to some victims of gender-based violence in Mitchell's Plain, where these women were telling me that they wondered if police would have taken them seriously, if the necessary resources would have been placed on their matter, if they had been in a more affluent area, if they had been in an area where there were more police resources. And even that time, speaking to those victims of GBV, even there they were telling me that the people that they had, that they trusted, the female officers even that they went to speak to open a case, these officers were telling them, we are simply inundated. My guest has just arrived, Mr. Dumisani Kwebe, right on time, sir. He's from the Nyanga CPF, and this is a gentleman who has worked tirelessly. We've even followed him as he's taken it upon himself to do that, just the policing himself, even just with your own car last year in Browns Farm. We were following you as you were walking with community members, many of them women, in trying to keep the area safe. Tell me, sir, have you seen any improvement in the area in terms of crime?
Good morning, Monique. Firstly, we want to acknowledge the presence of the community. because there is more of improvement within our police precincts. The crime has declined a lot. Actually, the only problem that we're still facing is the carjacking. In terms of the murders and other crime related, we've seen the decrease on them because we were working together with the community, and we are still saying again, we'll be working together, make sure that we've got a safer communities. Actually, there are four dynamics that we need to understand. That's collaboration, communication, creativity, and critical thinking. When we use those 4 C's, we'll get the proper results. That's why we are saying today, we are happy what we are seeing today in Nyanga, and especially with the presence of the neighborhood watches that are patrolling our communities, and the visibility of subs. Although we know that we are still under-resourced, but we can never complain. We are to use what we have at the moment in order to make sure that we have got a safer environment.
And just quickly, sir, tell me, have you seen many law enforcement officers in the area? The Western Cape government says that this has also helped improve the situation in areas like Nyanga, that deployment of law enforcement officers. Have you seen them, those boots on the ground, just assisting officers, the SAPS, in the policing of Nyanga, Philippi area?
Yes, actually, we always see them on the ground. They are playing their role as much as they came when things were already on place. But they are present, we welcome it, and we are happy that they are working hand in hand with subs. Even the community will tell you that they are always on ground with subs, even on the patrols, even on the roadblocks, stop and search, you'll find them. As I'm staying next to the road, around past 12 in the midnight, I used to see them with subs doing the operations, doing stop and search. Even the willy bins, they do search them during the night. I did see that. I am the witness of that.
And final question, you are going to be introducing us to a victim of crime, and we'll chat to that person a bit later. Do you find that SAPS, you mentioned the under-resourcing issue, do you find that SAPS is able to give the necessary attention that it needs to serious crimes like attempted murder, assault, robbery, or do you think that there is simply not enough resources to ensure that SAPS gives the full attention that is required to those serious crimes?
In 2019, there was a discussion where SAPS had made a promise that there will be people who will be looking at those critical crimes. Even we know that they are there, they are in place, they are working for us. You can just come and see even within the station, you'll find that the victims are well attended in the VIP room. We also having our external stakeholders who used to come and assist in terms of counseling and other stories, and making sure that when the victim is prepared to go to court, they play their role.
Thank you very much. That was Mr. Dumisani Kwebe, as always, right on time when we needed him. He's from the Nyanga Community Policing Forum, talking there about how important it is for all role players in a community to ensure that what we really, a success story that we've been seeing in Nyanga with that decline in murders, that decline in contact crimes that Mr. Kwebe was telling us about. And he says it's thanks to the community standing together, also doing their part, playing a role with the SAPS and those law enforcement officers.